Right, let's open up one of these. This is a 603XL cartridge for an Epson. Going to see if we can get this open to have a look inside. It's going to be messy. Ink is particularly messy for inkjet printers. This one's a high cork, and it's been pretty good as a kind of secondary cartridge, a non-genuine one. It's done pretty good service, and it's the black one. So let's see if we can get this open. It's quite well sealed. There's a little window here, a little sensor window for possibly for seeing if it's full or not. So that's kind of cool. Might have to peel the label off, I guess, to start. Oh, underneath. I've got something underneath. That's interesting. What does that say? Push. It's like a different branding. That's what it did have. Yeah, how bizarre. That's the air vent. This one's supposed to be empty, of course, so shouldn't get too much. And there's a little circuit board here. We're going to need some tool to persuade this to open. It looks fairly well sealed. Anything I can see is kind of up here somewhere, but yeah, pretty well sealed. So let's get a tool. Let's get this little sensor out for starters. Ah, well that was a bit disappointing, wasn't it? Nothing in there. I wonder if there was a little kind of mechanism in there to tell if it was a genuine cartridge or not then. That just seems to be like a little reflector. Because there's nothing in there at all. Possibly there was some sort of chip or something, or barcode to read, and that's how it detects if it's genuine or not. Let's continue. Circuit board, let's get that off. That's fairly small. Again, this might do something about the ink levels or being genuine or not. Now there is a tiny kind of like a surface mount chip on there, possibly a chip or something in there. Not much to it, just a few interface points. And then not much in the way of writing. Resistor, capacitor maybe, not much in there. Nothing in there. So now we're kind of down to the bit of how do we get in. Nothing is openable. It seems to be completely sealed, so it might have to be an outdoor job and cut it open with a hacksaw. It's extremely light when it's empty, so I'm not expecting a huge amount, but other videos do show these can be really complex. Anyway, I'll be back when I've opened it up. Alright, come into the shed due to expecting an ink explosion, but wow, that's really underwhelming, isn't it? I was expecting loads of little areas and vents and channels. I've cut this basically in half, split down the middle pretty much. I've left the valve intact, but yeah, all it really has doing on this one is ink reservoir, kind of like a split into what, 3 sections, I guess. Bit of sponge here, got inky fingers. There's a little kind of valvey little bit up there, probably just to, don't know, what's that doing? It's like a little plug. Maybe that's how you fill it. There we go, this little slug of plastic. There's a bit of sponge there. There's the other half of the sponge. I cut that straight in half. Yeah, so the ink just seems to, well, feed down here. Is there any channels between it? Hang on a second. Let's get a torch. Let's have a look. I think there was a gap underneath this main pillar here. I think what happens is ink feeds its way through these various channels to this middle channel here, and then down and out as required. But there's not really a lot to that. I was expecting a lot more. So yeah, no, fairly disappointing, that one. Super black. A little bit ink left. It's nice to see that pretty much everything has been taken, so fair play, it has used all the ink. That's not too bad. Yeah, so the air vent at the top, that is probably a valve to stop ink going out. It's a one-way valve, perhaps. You can just see the hole at the top there. And then ink seems to be in these, certainly in these two channels here, middle and outer here. And then it kind of just gets sucked as it's needed. And there's the bottom valve where it takes it. That's what plugs into the actual printer, into the head. Well, testing with a pointy object, ink does flow from this channel into the hole, and from this channel into this area, this channel down to that hole as well. So after poking with a sharp object, ink can flow from this reservoir down the hole, and it can also flow from here down into the hole. There is, can't see that for love nor money, but there is a hole in the bottom of each of those channels, and it does lead down into that port there. So no idea why there's two options. There was a small cover on this larger section, but certainly here could flow straight down, and that could via that little gauze thing. And then this sponge, well, doesn't seem to do a lot, maybe just a little holding pattern. But anyway, I've got some finger cleaning to do now, haven't I? Because this is going to be lovely to get off. Cheers for watching.